when I get home, I'll be like, okay, now I got these ideas. Which direction are we going to go? So then I'll sit down, and it's usually I'll have the microphone turned on, and then whatever the music is inspiring, I just depend on the words that come out, and it's kind of like this channeling these words from another source, because especially when you're not thinking about what you're writing or what you're singing, and it's just coming naturally. That's just how my whole approach has changed the last couple years. It's just learning as I go, man, because I never really went to school for this stuff. I've had the opportunity to work around some pretty big time producers that have worked with big artists. But me completely working by myself outside of the music that I buy from the different composers, it's just all me, man, and I'm learning as I go.
Hello. Welcome to another episode of Adeptus On-Air. I am again your host, Mike Hoffman, and today I am joined by musician Dylan Garcia. Dylan, how you doing, buddy?
Good morning. I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Good. Good way to start the day with a fun conversation, so I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
So I was reading your bio, and it gives a kind of an eclectic kind of explanation of your music style. So why don't you just kind of, in your own words, kind of describe your music?
It's music that will make you want to dance, and it hits you soulfully at the same time to get you thinking.
Okay, is that your process, or is that your end result when you're writing your music? Is that what you keep in mind?
Yeah, that is the end result.
So what's your process? Meaning, because obviously I know you have different styles. I know you've referred to reggae, you refer to some other things. So I guess when you talk to different musicians, they talk about, well, I come up with the lyrics first, I come up with the melodies first, I come up with the style first. Well, what's your approach when you're looking to write new music?
Well, I'm usually on the hunt, man, with all these producers that I follow that create, that compose music, and they, you can purchase their music from them. And then if I find it like starts like that, I'll be on the hunt, or
Okay.
one will pop up or get a notification on YouTube. This producer just published this. If it's really seamlessly, I'm feeling it the moment that I hear it.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not, I'm on the hunt still. I'll tell you, like, I had a dry spell for like a month, and like me being a writer, like it's part of what I got to do every day. Like not every day, but it's something that's got to be involved, especially writing music. And I mean, I was like at a low point, like, man, am I gonna find a good one? God, are you taking my creativity away from me? What's going on? And I'm very specific on the type of music. Like it has to really, I don't want to force it when I'm writing. And the process after that, the process after that is once I'll find the music, I'll listen to it while I'm in the car, while I'm at work, and then just have throwing around all these different ideas in my head.
Yeah.
And then when I get home, I'll be like, okay, now I got these ideas. Which direction are we going to go? So then I'll sit down, and it's usually I'll have the microphone turned on. And now this is different. In the past 2 years, I've been not literally just, writing down lyrics. I'm usually what's coming out of me in that moment. So I'll have the mic on live, and then whatever the music is inspiring, I just depend on the words that come out.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like this channeling these words from another source, because especially when you're not thinking about what you're writing or what you're singing, and it's just coming naturally. That's just how my whole approach has changed the last couple years, and I like it because when you write something down, for me, it's like, you don't want to change it. And then when you write something down, it's like, man, how am I going to fit that word in, or how am I going to make it flow with the song? With this, it's just naturally all flowing to what words come out. And what I've noticed the difference these past couple of years, I'm not trying to say too much in a limited about a space. I'm using the space to kind of, you know anything about surfing?
Very peripherally. In fact, I had someone on the podcast last week, a big surfer. So we actually talked a little bit about surfing.
Okay, so when you're riding that wave, you want to cruise. You want to just flow with the wave. And I had a friend tell me way back, man, you know how you love surfing? You got to surf that beat. And so these past couple of years, that's what I've been doing, man, is just surfing the beat and just
Yeah.
trying to get the right words and convey the right emotion. And so I'll run through it. I'll get all my words, say I got the whole song. Okay, then it's like, okay, I'll go back. Okay, I'm going to take this out. This doesn't sound good. And then usually just trying to make sure I capture everything on that very first take. And then I'll come back maybe a day later and be like, oh yeah, I want this one. I want the ending of this word to be high. I want the
Yeah.
ending of this word to be low. And it's just learning as I go, man, because I never really went to school for this stuff.
Hmm.
I've had the opportunity to work around some pretty big time producers that have worked with big artists. But me completely working by myself outside of the music that I buy from
Yeah.
the different composers, it's just all me, man. And I'm learning as I go. Like now that I'm going to be 44 at the end of this month.
Hmm.
And I was like, I really got to focus on singing because when people see me for the first time, they're not, I mean, 44 years old and being a rapper, it just
Right.
doesn't,
Yeah.
it just doesn't
It
make
doesn't fit
sense,
the mold.
you
Yeah.
know?
Right. It's interesting. Now, when you say you kind of go back and you reassess your music and you make changes, are you involving anyone else in that process, or is it just completely yourself?
Just myself. So maybe my wife, like she'll listen to it, with like I'll play the song for her and she'll say like, oh, you need to do it, more más suave, a little bit more smoother.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, and it's funny how you mentioned reggae, right when we were starting is a track that I put out called Vulnerable back in April.
Hmm.
I'm actually doing a reggae remix of the original soul track that I did, the R&B and soul track that I did. I
Yeah.
just happened to, I found a new producer and this reggae, composition popped up. I said, man, I think I can make Vulnerable fit into this. Um, so I'm always trying to stay open, man, because like good music is good,
Yeah.
whether it's reggae or
Right.
rock, R&B. And I'm just trying to stay in those guidelines of making good music,
Well,
regardless of what it's.
it's an interesting approach because there are some people who are, definitely defined as rock or country or soul. And it
Yeah,
seems like you're kind of, driving in all lanes a little bit, which is, I guess, gives you, the ability to actually find different fans, to find different, different
yeah.
styles that you like and you adjust to appropriately.
You're exactly right, man. You're exactly right.
Yeah.
Because not every once I started building like this international fan base, it's like uh, I'm starting to see different parts, like demographics, different parts of the world where they like France, for instance. France really loves my funk. They love the funk music
Right.
in France. It's a really big thing for funk. And then like my song Vulnerable, I mean it got playlisted on Apple and it hit in the UK and like in the Philippines of all places. But that song for the United States didn't really catch on. It kind of blew up in London first,
Right. It's
you
interesting.
know?
And you have no way
Yeah,
of knowing. I mean, you could think, okay, France likes this kind of style, but until it's out there, you know, you got to see what you kind of throw the song against the wall and kind of see where it sticks.
right? Yeah.
Now, what are your songs? Slow motion.
Yeah, slow
So
motion.
I was preparing this morning. I just kind of YouTube. And that was the first song that came up. So listen to it. Like the beat. So I have to ask you a question about one of the lyrics because I was in the car with my daughter, and you referred to something about freaks. So
Yeah.
what is that line referring to?
The chorus that I came up with was about um because I stopped drinking. I don't drink alcohol anymore. I haven't drank
Okay,
alcohol for 139 days, I think it is.
good for you.
And um, when I was the partying guy, I'll explain the chorus. When I was the partying guy,
Yeah.
the freaks come out at night and the freaks come out and play. I'm referring to someone of the opposite sex,
Okay.
a woman, for instance. The women. I've been doing this music thing for a long time. I've been married for it's going to be 8 years, but prior to that, I lived my solo life, my single life, and I've done
Yeah.
all that. And when I'd be drinking, it was always about trying to get the freaks to come out at night.
Gotcha.
and to have a good time. And that's when I say freaks come out at night, freaks come out and play. Uh, I've been there, I've done that. That's why I say I've been there, I've done that. Like
Yeah, yeah,
I've
yeah.
already done that. Uh, Now I'm still running this game. Like now you got me 110%, not at 70% when I was
Right.
still boosting.
Yeah.
And
See, it's
now
interesting
I'm
when,
just cruising with my baby, which is
yeah,
my wife.
you're right. It's interesting because an explanation to a song kind of goes a long way because you hear it and
Yeah.
you could really interpret that a thousand ways. And that's just one example. But that's with any song. You can, until you kind of talk to the songwriter and you're going to have your own interpretation of lyrics. And that's
Yeah.
okay. I can interpret any way I want. The fact is, if it touches me and I enjoy listening to it, at the end of the day, does it really matter what the message is?
I know, right?
Yeah. So there are two things I know. You're an advocate, for certain kind of mental health issues. Why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Well, pretty much started like around the time when I finished college. I started having these weird episodes that were going on mentally. Um, the first one happened, I'd say maybe around 23 years old, about 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like one of these, it's hard to explain how the feeling is, like how to explain what it's exactly like feeling like being in my shoes, but you're not, you're being delusional.
Mm-hmm.
You're having your sense perception is really elevated, like, and I just didn't know what it was. I just thought like, okay, what's going on right now? Like, why does everything feel off? And then it would go away on its own. I'd
Right.
be able to calm myself out of it. And that was going on until, I mean, shoot, man, all the way up until 2009. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
still working a full time job. I'm
Yeah.
still gigging on the weekend. I'm still
Mm-hmm.
living my life. And this is something that I never shared with anybody during those times for like years, not
Yeah.
explaining this to anybody, not talking to anybody about it. And we're talking, this is the early 2000s. I mean, it wasn't about mental health matters back then. They called it mental illness. It
Yeah.
wasn't
Yeah.
even about mental health. It was called mental illness. And in 2009, I was working for a contractor doing heating and air conditioning controls, with
Mm-hmm.
their thermostats
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
wiring up commercial buildings for to set so they're able to set their thermostats from a computer. And at that same time, I'm living in Newport Beach. I had started a band. We were doing reggae music, and I end up getting in a position where I'm able to go on a solo career.
Mm-hmm.
I meet this producer, record labels involved. Like all the wheels are spinning in my career. It's all happening really fast. But that whole time, it's like I had been struggling with my mental health. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
for that
And
whole
no
year. And
one
then,
sees that. Yeah.
and you throw on a full time job,
Mm-hmm.
you throw in a new girlfriend, and then
Yeah.
you throw in, big recording sessions and record deals. I mean, I let myself get caught up too much in the moment, which kind of was, I was already living an episode, but which triggered the episode even worse, where it was like I was completely out of touch with reality.
Right. Right. Right.
And I find myself I walked all day with my dog. I thought something was going to happen to me. I said, well, something's going to happen to me. It's going to be out in the open. So, and then I didn't have my dog on a leash. So I'm planning, oh, this is my dog can get away. Like I have this whole thing planned out of something that's going to
Yeah.
happen to me. Find myself wandering, all throughout Newport Beach and Orange County that morning, just walking. I left my house like at 4 that morning, just walking. Well, somebody's going to get me. They're going to have to get me out in the open.
Mm-hmm.
That's where my
Yeah.
mind was. And this is literally after only having this was the second time we went back in the studio to record more music for this project that I was doing for this label. And then midway through the day, my son's the girlfriend, the new girlfriend that I have finds me, and she's like wondering what the hell happened. She's like 2 weeks ago you were good, and all of a sudden you're just, I don't understand what's going on with you. She drops me off at one of the hospitals, and I had told them, stuff. before anybody takes my life, I'm going to take my own. Well, with saying that statement, they put
Right.
me in as a 5150. They take me away in an ambulance.
Of
The
course.
whole time, I'm literally hallucinating, like hallucinating throughout this whole day. I'm in the back of an ambulance. I remember I was like just hallucinating the whole thing. They take me to a place, and I'm in there with people that are off their rocker. This is the first time I've ever been in a mental hospital. Like, it's not the place to be at. It's like one of the scariest places to be at,
Yeah.
especially
And yeah.
when you're going in because nobody's medicated yet.
Yeah.
And um, I didn't know where I was. I couldn't put two and two together. And then I woke up the next day. I'm actually admitted as a patient, but I still don't know. I thought I was at at an alcohol
Yeah.
at a at a damn
Like a
you know what
detox. Yeah.
detox. Yeah, I thought I was but I wasn't drinking alcohol. I just didn't know where I was. And then this
Right.
guy walked in and he's like, "We got to give you an injection, man. Drop your pants." And I'm still trying to figure out what the hell I'm doing here. And I'm like, "Wait a minute, who are you? So I'm going to drop my pants?" So next thing I know, I'm fighting with the staff. They call code red. There's like 15 people in there holding me down, and they stick me with this syringe. And I woke up later on that day and I was normal. And it's like, oh man, do you mean to tell me what's been going on all these years? I couldn't make it go away on its own, like I
Right.
have been able to do. And that was when I really started to get answers. Like, wait a minute, there's something. I mean, something is wrong if they have to medicate me
Right.
and and that gave me a lot of closure for so many years not knowing what the hell was going on because I literally just thought I was crazy.
Right. Right. Right.
And I never talked to anybody, didn't explain this to my brother, my family, nobody. How do you explain this stuff when you don't even know what the hell's going on with you to begin with?
Yeah.
And that was the beginning of the journey to 2018. So that was the beginning of the journey of about a 9-year journey to finally get the right doctor, get the right meds, and get back on
Good.
track.
Yeah. How
Music
does your music?
absolutely.
How does your
What's
music
that?
reflect that? How does your music reflect any of that, or does it?
There's a couple songs. Actually, there's a song that we recorded in the studio around that studio session right before I was hospitalized. Of a song, and I think writing the song kind of threw me into a delirium too because I was just so you got a label telling you got to be the go deeper, you got to be the biggest songwriter. They're putting all
Yeah.
this stuff in my head, and then you could start having these grandiose thoughts like, man, I got to be the best songwriter in the world. And I really got locked in on this song that I was writing for like the entire month. Like I was just in my head, I'm going to write the best song that ever. I'm going to write the best song. And when I come back and listen to this song, years later, I'm like, man, this is the guy talking about struggling with mind, you know, and not so bluntly open about it. But I mean, I listened to that song. It was called Freedom Fighter. And it was literally me trying to fight for my freedom to get myself out of this place that I'm in mentally. And when I listen to it, it's kind of scary because it's like, man, I remember how I felt back then. I remember all the crap that I was dealing with mentally. And I put so much pressure on myself uh, that it's just like, man, this sounds like a troubled guy. This sounds like a really troubled person. And uh, I mean, dude, it was, I mean, and then fighting them. And then on top of that, trying to get the help that you need through the mental health system while the mental health system's still growing at the same time.
Yeah.
It was tough, man. Music was the only thing. Music was the only thing because, the after I got hospitalized and I find out, my son's mom, girlfriend that I have is pregnant.
Hmm.
This all happened within a month. I get signed a record deal. I meet this girl, I sign a record deal, I go in the studio, she's
Yeah.
pregnant, I'm in a mental hospital. It was just so much all going on at the same
Yeah.
time.
It just keeps
Uh,
piling up on each other. Yeah.
it was just piling up, man. And I'm just grateful that I got through it because right when I got out of the hospital from this mental institution, I had a follow up visit. The doctor takes me off medication, telling me I don't need it. I'm off medication. I'm whacked out again. Then instead of the doctor giving me the medication that stabilized me in the hospital, he has some other reason why he needs to try some other medication that didn't work. I put on like 65 pounds in like 3.5 months. I'm up 220 from 160 when the start. Like everything just was a shitstorm. Excuse my language.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Sounds like it.
and and then I am here. I got this woman that I barely know that I've only been dating for a month. She's pregnant. She's upset because she's like, well, I thought we were getting this record deal. It's a wait a minute. You were only with me because of the where
Right.
I was in my music career. This was never about us being together. It was about,
Right.
you know, thinking you're seeing dollar signs out of this. You weren't seeing, and it was tough, man. And then when you're fighting the mental health system, that's another
Mhm.
thing too, because a lot of these psychiatrists, man, and I can't speak for everyone, and I'm not saying I speak for everyone, but a lot of these psychiatrists, I could not get the help that I needed. It
Right.
was like they want to prescribe you the medication that they like prescribing because they think it works on some patient, and it's like it's just such a crazy rabbit hole with the mental health system. I mean, literally, it wasn't until I was having a hip replacement that I was able to see a psychiatrist in the hospital in Los Angeles where I'm having this hip replacement.
Mhm.
And I remember I was in tears, man, to the orthopedic surgeon or to the surgeon that's doing my hip surgery. Like, man, dude, I'm not getting the help I need in my hometown.
Yeah.
Filing grievances against doctors. Like I'm doing that. Like I'm fighting the system just so I can get well. Like, no, I don't
Mhm.
want to live a mediocre life
Right.
because
Right.
like I still got things I'm trying to accomplish. And then it was as easy as this psychiatrist comes in to visit me. This we're in LA and ask me some questions like, okay, I'm gonna take some blood work and then I'll figure out which medication is gonna work. And I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, why has nobody taken blood work in 9 years to figure out
Mhm.
what medication is
Right.
gonna work?
Of course.
And it's like it's just trial and error. And then the doctor comes back, he's got the blood, he's like, okay, take this, take this, take this, go to bed, I'll see you in the morning. It's that same thing again, man. I take the meds, I wake up, and it's like, boom, everything's normal again. I got my wife next to me. I'm like, wait a minute, how long was I crazy for?
Yeah.
You know, you're living in this bipolar thing that you don't even realize that anything's off. Other people can see it, but you don't see it because that's just your
Right.
your distorted version of reality at that time. But then it's like, wait a minute. As soon as I woke up that day and I was good, I'm still in pain for my hip, obviously, but I wake up and I'm like, I remember making a deal with God, like, I'm going to do whatever I got to do. So I'm never back in this situation mentally.
Of course.
And then after filing these grievances, the county finds me a different doctor. And then next thing I know, the doctor I get set up with, who has like this holistic approach, is talking about your diet, working out. It wasn't just about taking meds. It was like, no, man, we got to do a
It's lifestyle.
full change of lifestyle to get and
Yeah.
he had challenged me at first. He's like, well, you talk about, you want to have this music career, you've been doing music, well, how are you going to do it if you ain't your best? And he just really
Yeah.
challenged me. And in those 9 years until from 2009 to 2018, it's like finally a doctor's telling me to work out, finally a doctor's not just there, visit him, shoot the shit, and then here's your
Yeah.
meds for next. It was like actually this guy actually really gave a shit that
Yeah. Take the
whether I
time
was.
to get to know you and stuff. Yeah.
And I had him for almost about a year until with the county, whoever their
Mhm.
contract is with for the following year, and you have different. That was another thing too. Different psychiatrists always coming through because they can never set a long enough contract where you can get well with your
Correct.
get
Yep.
get accommodated with your what's the word? Just have a good connection with your doctor
Right. You build a rapport, and
build the relationship. Yeah,
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 and suddenly they're gone, and you kind of feel like you're starting all over again, and everything in the past was just like wasted time.
exactly what it was, man. Because it was a lot of wasted time not going anywhere in that 9 years. And once I got better, man, I'm hearing this doctor start working out. He's like, I don't mean just walk around the block. I mean, I'm about going to the gym, really work out. Didn't you play? He's like, did you ever play? I said, yeah, I play football. Work out like playing football. He said.
Yeah. 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 Get your
And then
body
I
back
just
to where it
started.
needs to be.
And then little by little, man, it's just it just was progress to get well again. And then that's in 2018 was like, okay, I'm really gonna now I feel like I'm getting a whole new restart, introducing myself to the music world again. 9 years later. I'd been putting music out off and on,
Mhm.
and but not serious. And obviously that gamble paid off, man, because I'm doing an interview with you at 6:30 in the morning. So it paid off, man.
So how are you? So back to your music for a second. So obviously, you're releasing music on Apple and other platforms. Are you performing live on a regular basis?
Yeah, I'm trying to, man. I just got done doing 3 weekends in a row of gigs. I had a gig in at the end of June. No, the third week of June, I had a performance. Then the following weekend, I had another performance, and that was with a music school that I was raising money for. And then
Hmm.
I just did a live taping gig to perform out in LA. So it's been picking up. Man.
Good,
Things are getting busy, and the music. I mean, like I said, as long as I can keep finding compositions to write to, I think I'll be.
good.
And
Yeah,
uh,
yeah. But I think the key
and
is you've identified the process and the challenge. This is what you need to do. You need to go out, find the
yeah,
compositions that speak to you. You'll get the right words to it, and then as we said before,
yeah,
hopefully something sticks, and then the next thing sticks, and it goes from there.
and I was thinking about putting out an album, um, dropping like an album with like 17 tracks with some of the tracks that I released previously on top of a
Mhm.
bunch of new ones. But then it's like I get to this point where it's like every time I do a new song, it's better than the last one. Then it's like, oh, I don't even know if some of these songs that are on this album are even good enough. Like I might have to go back and re-record some of these songs because
Right,
then
sure.
you
Well,
guys
yeah,
you're
that's your
thinking your
evolution.
quality level, and I'm obviously a better engineer than I was a year ago or
Yeah,
2 years ago because I got songs. I mean, there's a song that I wanted to put on my album that dated all the way back to that I did in 2021 that I was
right.
going to include on the album because there's certain songs that I never put out, and then me being the loopy guy that I am, like I'll write songs, but I won't release them later until I actually manifest what I'm talking about in that song.
Listen, at the end of the day, these are very personal to you and have meaning to you, and you need to be able. You need to. These are your thoughts and these are your
Yeah.
feelings, and you have to get comfortable when you're ready to share that with the rest of us.
Yeah, and then until it makes sense, that's why I finally felt like the song I did from 2021. I was like, it makes sense now because I'm talking about how I did an overhaul of how I live daily, how I stopped drinking, and it's just music, man. I'm grateful that I've been luckily to be in at the right place at the right time and met the producers that I did in my life that because we're all still cool to this day. I mean, I
Yeah.
started one of my producers. His name is Ronnie King. He called me last night. We were talking, and he was the one that I was with in the studio when I was out of my mind. He was the one that recorded. We recorded in we recorded in September of 2009. The very next day after we finished recording, the recording studio is offering me a deal. I signed the deal right
Mhm.
around the time, like week after I meet my future son's mom. Um, and then I go in the studio. I'm out of my mind. I end up in a mental hospital. Like he will always hold a dear place in my life, man. Not because we got this special kind of music relationship. It's like one of those relationships you can build, like you have in the studio. It's like even with guys that I play music, like they already know where you're going to improvise. Like when I play guitar and I'm playing on, and I'm playing with somebody else, they already know. It's like you already know where you're going to improvise at. They already
Right.
know what you're going to play. Like you
Mhm.
just have this like soul connection. And I feel like we haven't cut a record since Ronnie and I haven't cut a record since 2021, and we're talking about cutting some records again. Um, but it's like, man, the relationships that I built with people through music, like other producers or people in the
Mhm.
business, um, sometimes it's like surfing too. Like you just have the connection with somebody because because you guys do the same thing. Same thing like with
Yeah.
people that I mean, when I was in college, I hung out with nobody, only people that I surfed with. Like
Mhm.
you just build this camaraderie, and It was really cool because Ronnie called me last night, even though we haven't cut a record in 4 years together, and I'm still doing my thing, and he's busy. He's got his career, but it's really cool to be able to catch up.
Yeah.
You know,
And you
and
never know when the opportunity
delays.
presents itself again to work together. You never know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how can people find your music? It's across, you said, all platforms, Apple and.
Yeah, it's all across all platforms. It's the best way to do it is just go to DylanGarciaMusic.com. DYLAN GarciaMusic.com.
And are you on any other social media platforms?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook and Instagram is at Dylan Garcia Music.
Perfect. Well, listen, I'm glad you got to the point in your life where you are now, that you went through all those struggles, but hopefully it made you a better person, a better musician, a better husband, a better everything. So,
Thanks,
I admire you for getting through all that. And, I appreciate you coming on, and we wish you nothing but continued success.
Yeah, thank you for having me, man. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks for listening to Adeptus On-Air. If you like this episode, please subscribe and leave a review. The views and opinions by the podcast speakers and guests are solely their own and do not reflect the opinions of Adeptus. This podcast provides general information only and is not intended to constitute advice.